My name is Philip, I'm from Players Club, and the past few years I dedicated my professional career to the topic of loyalty, user loyalty, which is pretty important, and that's why the title of this keynote is What Drives User Loyalty, and actually also what doesn't. You made it here to this panel, which is amazing because you will see afterwards, hopefully, that this is one of the most important topics you can listen to in this conference, and I hope you will agree afterwards. First of all, let me ask who's already here longer in the industry than 5 years, like since 2020. iGaming industry, entertainment, gaming, here a lot, more than 10 years. 2015, yeah, nice, me too. Even more? Yeah, one, okay. So we have quite a lot of experience here in the room, and this is very nice because then you can relate to the topic even more from your experience, you will see. First of all, I want to take you back to the year 2017. I was 29 back then. I worked already about 3 years on my first business, and my first business was all about this. About esports. We created an esports betting platform called HeroSphere. And it was not an ordinary betting platform like you see right now. It was a kind of fantasy football mechanic. So people could pick their favorite esports players for their fantasy team. And depending on how they perform in the real world, in real games, they collected points for their players, for their picks. And with these points, they competed against other users on the platform. So we simplified the mechanic of fantasy football a little bit. It is a real big thing in the US. And it worked quite well, I have to say. We had an amazing team. We were able to acquire about 300,000 users within the first year. And we were not only able to get them, we were able to get them very cheap. Beneath €1 per user, per registration, even per depositing user, €1. You will see that this is crazy compared to other industries. Sometimes we went even lower than 60 cents. Additionally, we were quite well funded, so we had investors. We were able to win pitch contests in Europe, like the famous Wolf Summit pitch contest, for example. So there was also money. And 2017 was also the year where Bitcoin was skyrocketing from $1,000 to $20,000. We anticipated this development already 1 year before that, in 2016, and started to think about, wouldn't it be amazing that people can bet on our platform with our own cryptocurrency? So what we did in 2017 was we created the first cryptocurrency of Austria. It was actually most probably also the first initial coin offering of the European Union, which was legally approved by the government. So in the end, this sounds amazing, right? We had a lot of users, we had a nice team, we were quite successful. The reality is, 3 years later, we were nearly broke. We had no money anymore, we were not successful in business, and we had to sell the company in the end. The question is, what happened? What did we miss? We did not look, we did not focus on one major thing. What do you think it is? How to keep them. Exactly. If you would need to say this in a KPI, what does it mean? Which KPI would it be?
Retention.
Perfect. Retention. Retention is not just a KPI. Retention is the KPI. Retention is the difference between a business which is scaling, which is successful, and a company which is dying. It is the difference between a loyal customer base and a ghosted platform. So retention is for sure the most important KPI for long-term success for a business, especially for digital B2C businesses. But I would go one step further and say for every business, or nearly every business. And I tell you why. First of all, high churn. So if users leave quickly again, or leave the platform, do not use your product anymore, your service anymore, it is like a leaking bucket. You pour in users, you pour in more and more marketing budget, but you're losing them constantly. Actually, you're just burning money. And you can pour more and more. The only thing that you do is maybe you maintain your revenue, but you will not grow. I give you an example for that. If you are able to bring in, let's say, 100,000 users per month, but you have a churn rate of 50%, which is not unusual, you will see that. What do you think? How big is your user base after 1 year? Every month there come 100,000 new users. Give me a number, what do you think? After 1 year, how many users do you have? 300,000? 400? I see the calculations in the head.
You mean churn rate for the first month or every month?
After a month, 50% churn rate.
From all the existing, from previous period, right?
Every time. The churn rate is from all the users that you have, every time the 50% leaves. I tell you the solution of it, because you can't even believe it. At the beginning, after the 4th month or something like that, you already have 95,000 users, even though 50% leave. But the naughty thing about it is you never reach the 100,000 users, because you always lose a half of your user base, which means your users will stay all the time beneath 100,000 users. You can't grow anymore. And you just pour in more and more money and you burn it. And maintain your revenue that you have, but you will not grow. Strong retention always means that the business is stable. So it's the best indicator of looking at a business and checking if it's stable or not. Why is this important? Because if you go through market downturns, for example, and we all, as we have been in the industry, we know there are better years, there are worse years, but if you have a loyal customer base, then you can navigate through this easily. People will stay with you, play at your platform, use your product, use your services, and pay you in the end. If you don't have that, then you're the first thing that your customers cancel to save money. There's another point in that. If you're a startup, for example, and you're looking for investors, venture capitals, they are using, for sure, the churn rate and the retention that you have to calculate your valuation. So if you want to have a good valuation for your business, for the investors, you need to take care about retention. It's not so much about the absolute numbers. They don't care if you have 300,000 users, 600,000 users. If they are churning quickly, then your business is simply not stable. So, in the end, if you have a high retention, this automatically means the customer lifetime value, so the value that the customer brings to your company over the entire time that he uses your service, is automatically higher. Of course, if you spend a lot of time with a platform, with a product, with a service, then you're more willing to spend money for it, right? You're more willing to buy again, or even to do a first-time deposit. Additionally, a lot of those users become advocates for your product. They start to talk about your product with other people. This word of mouth marketing has a big value because those users do not cost you anything. They come organically. And this is what you're seeking for, actually. So in the end, if you're caring about profits, and we are all in business, so we care about profits, then you must take care about retention. I just have a few benchmarks for you here so that you can get a feeling what that means. First of all, let's look at the retention. Retention is most of the time measured in day 1, day 7, day 30 retention. So you have a look at how many people stay still after 1 day, how many of them are still there after 7 days, how many are still there after 30 days. And we see the average rates here. Day 1 retention in average, and average is right good already. Then you have 35-45%. Day 7, 50 to 20. After 30 days, still 5 to 10% of your users are there. In best cases, it's different. In best cases, you can reach 50 to 60% of day 1 retention. This is already pretty good. 30 to 35 in day 7 and 50 to 20 in day 30. I personally never seen a business who reached 20% after day 30, to be honest. Now let's look at the churn. A casual player has a monthly churn of 80 to 95%. It's basically not always 100%, but basically the turnaround, right? Churn to retention. For VIP and high rollers, it's tremendously different. They have a churn of only 30 to 50%. This means a lot already. And why is that the case? Because they invested already a lot into the platform. They used a lot of money, a lot of time, and the more that I invest into something, the more I trust the product, the platform, the more I'm willing to stay there. So this is clear why this happens, right? And then the turnaround to this 35-45%, 24 hours churn new users means the users which immediately go away after they checked out a few minutes, a few hours, your product is 60 to 70%. And the last two interesting numbers here is the customer acquisition costs. So how much does a user cost us that we get him to use our service? And then the customer lifetime value, which I talked already about. And these are huge numbers, right? If you remember what I told you, that we got users for €1, then this was crazy. So if you want to have users from affiliates, you pay 50 to 200 euros. Of course, this always depends on markets, and I'm talking about averages, and you will find different numbers on the internet maybe. But this is like common numbers. For if you're allowed in some jurisdictions to make advertisement for your service on social media, then you pay already 100 to 300 euros for a depositing customer. And Google Ads is like, it could be 150, but most of the time you're somewhere between 300, 400, 500 euros per depositing user. This is a lot, right, if you think about it. And now think about you want to pour in 100,000 users per month into your product. What does this mean? So what you can see is you can throw out money if you want to in this market. If you do not take care about your churn rate, about the retention, you're burning it. You're really burning it, and this is not necessary. But this is actually what we did. We had everything on the table. We had cheap users, we were well funded, and still we failed. And this was very disappointing for me. I thought I had this once in a lifetime chance to become a millionaire and a really successful businessman. 3 years later, we did not have anything anymore. So I thought, what the hell happened? Why we haven't been able to make loyal customers out of our customers? So I did a lot of research, and I want to tell you what I found. Customer lifetime value. We talked about this already, and you know, casual players, medium spenders, and VIPs, high rollers are like somewhere else in a different league. But the medium spenders are between 150 and 600 euros. So I did a lot of research how to be on the best in class side and not on the loser side anymore. And in order to tell you what I found, I want to tell you a little story, and I want to introduce you to the characters of our story. First of all, meet Joe. He is an average guy, a little bit younger than me, 34 years old. He has a decent salary as an IT technician. And he's in a relationship. He has no kids, but might be want to have kids in 1 or 2 years. And he's a casual player. Mostly on a mobile phone. He likes to play in the evening to relax a bit, to calm down, and he does this 3 to 4 times a week. The question now is, how can we make a loyal player out of Joe? And why does Joe decide to be a loyal player, to stay with a product, and to use the product over and over again? And actually, it's not Joe who decides that. Because with Joe, we have 4 characters who work together and who decide if he is a loyal player or not. We call them the 4 neuro heroes, and I want you now to meet the crew. Sorry. We have here Andy, we have Dan, we have Corty, and Sarah. First of all, we have a look at Dan. Dan is the absolute rock star of those 4 neuro heroes. Every time you're in a conference, every time you read a book, you watch a video about gamification, about product development, game development, whatever, you will hear Dan's name. And every time Dan hears dopamine, he feels like the absolute rock star. He's energetic, impulsive, and he's always looking for the next shiny thing. Something that Dan would say is like, yes, the next jackpot. Loot boxes, give it to me. Daily spins, I love it. And what he is really, really triggered for are progress bars. He loves progress bars. Of course, he's also triggered by wins, even more by surprise wins, or if he can unlock something. But what he loves is progress bars, right? Then Sarah. Sarah is more calm. She is the status seeker. She's proud, composed, and loves to be admired by others. So she wants to be on stage, actually. Something that Sarah would say is, I don't just want to win. I want people to see that I'm winning. I want to be something special. She is heavily triggered by something like leaderboards, VIP tiers, status displays like badges or something like that. The important thing is that she can be, or at least she has the feeling, to be admired by other people. Then Andy. Andy is simply the fun lover. Andy is the guy that on a party everybody likes him, right? He's chilled, upbeat, light-hearted, and he doesn't even care if he wins or loses. For him, it's just about fun. He says, let's enjoy the ride. This is the most important for me. Make it fun, and I'm happy. He's heavily triggered by completely different things. Like he cares about the UI, the UX, how it looks, the colors, the animations, the sound effects, that the game loop is fulfilling with a reward afterward. This is what Andy triggers, and this is what he is seeking for. And then this little guy, Corty. I like him, but he's not easy. He is a kind of drama queen. You really need to handle him somehow. He's anxious, intense, always afraid of missing out something. Something that Corty would say is, we're running out of time. We need to get there. We need to be the first. They will forget about us. We need to act now. What if somebody else takes the rewards, which are limited, and I do not get anything anymore? This is what really triggers Corty. So fear of missing out, countdowns, status losses, something like that. Now imagine Joe. Joe is the nice guy. He has all those 4 characters which pulling him in different directions all the time, depending on how the product is doing. And one day, Joe had a tough day. He came home, he had a long day because he needed to spend extra hours at work. His boss was yelling at him because IT infrastructure again didn't work, they did not receive any emails. It was not his fault, but he needed to solve it. He came home exhausted. A little dinner with his girlfriend, but he could not even listen. He was too exhausted for that. And everything he was seeking for was just a little bit of relief. Coming down, forget about this day, and have a nice evening. And therefore, he went into his room, like he always does, and started to play. He opened up his favorite platform, and suddenly this happened. He felt no pleasure anymore. This feeling of relief was not there anymore. He wasn't happy. He wasn't even looking forward to it. He saw it, and everything was disappointment and boredom. So we are now at the point of crisis. What happened? Why does Joe not feel this pleasure anymore? The thing that he was seeking for. Actually, here we are close to losing a player which was actually loyal. He played already several times. But now we are losing him. In order to understand that, we need to check out what is the problem of the 4 new heroes. First of all, then, I've seen this before. No new rewards, nothing, no surprises, no progress. This is boring. I'm out. I'm not interested anymore. Then Sarah. She checks out the platform and suddenly she sees her status. Why the hell am I still bronze status? I have invested so much time with Joe into this platform. We were there 3 to 4 times a week. And I'm still just bronze. Nobody cares about me. I'm not special here. Nobody notices me. I'm out. Next, Andy. Andy the same. He is really upset, and it's not easy to get him upset. He looks at the platform. Every time the same thing. I need to log in. I play the same games. No animations. No surprises. This feels more like work than like fun. I'm not interested anymore. And Corty. Corty checked out everything at the platform. And then realized, actually it doesn't matter if I come here right now, in an hour, tomorrow, or in a week. Nothing changes for me. There's nothing I can get if I'm the first one, or that I lose if I'm not quick enough. So this is totally boring for me. I'm out. And suddenly you have the situation that the player disappears. All the money that we've seen before, these hundreds of euros that you spend, the marketing campaigns and everything that you put into him is lost. It's gone. Because what we know is that a player that churned is very hard to get back. Nearly you cannot achieve it. A player who decides that he does not want to play anymore here for several reasons is hard to get back. On the other hand, what we know, to retain a user, to keep a user that you already have, is 5 times cheaper. 5 times cheaper than to get a new one. So where would you invest your money into, right? This is the situation now. All our 4 Euro heroes are disappointed. And by that, Joe is disappointed. He does not have this feeling of pleasure. He does not have this feeling of relief that he was seeking for after a hard day. But what if there is a way to bring those guys into harmony again? what if we can build a kind of loyalty system, a perfect way of entertaining them? For that, we again need to listen to the guys, what they actually seeking for, what they want to have. First of all, Dan again, he would say something like, give me surprise rewards, unlockable items. I want to do some streaks. I want to unlock mystery bonuses, or damn it, give me my progress bars. Then he would be engaged again. Then his blood starts to rush. If he can look forward to something, if he is surprised of something. For Sarah, it's different. She wants visible status tiers. She wants personal best, profile badges, leaderboards, something to show off, something to brag a little bit actually. And also maybe exclusive areas which only she can enter, and maybe some others which are also very special. For Andy, it's easy. Make it more fun. Add some animations, some sound effects, positive feedbacks in the loop. I want you to celebrate my achievements, and I want to feel that. Then I'm happy. Then I'm in again. And Corti just says, guys, use some urgency triggers with me. If you want to excite me, then I need to feel that. Some expiring rewards, rollback warnings, reactivation bonuses. This is what excites him. Or if you have things in stock that only people can get, which participate in a loyalty system, but the stock is limited, I will be the first one who is there because I want to have my reward. This is what excites me. So, if you introduce all of those things, if we listen to our 4 neuro heroes, then we could come up with our ingredients of the ultimate iGaming loyalty system. And it's not only about iGaming. You can always think about the neuro heroes for your product, whatever you do, and you will find a way how to engage them. First of all, the perfect iGaming loyalty system needs surprise rewards. It needs to change over time. It's not enough that you have good games on your platform, because this is all the same all the time. User logs in, user plays the game that he's used to. This is fine, it's a habit somehow, but there needs to be surprises, right? And you can provide that surprises as a platform or within the game. It doesn't matter. But this is very, very important for Dan to get into this dopamine rush. Mystery bonuses, unlockable items, these are all the same things actually. This surprise element. Then we need something gamified and social experience. Social experience especially for whom? We know it already. Who is the status seeker? Who wants to interact with somebody else? Exactly. So what is meant here? With gamified, for example, you could introduce some challenges. Play 5 times this, five different games this week. Or do your first deposit. Some small challenges which you need to fulfill, which gamifies the whole process a little bit, and then you receive something for it. And social experience could be, for example, what we heard, something like badges or like chats maybe, which is somehow also a bit dangerous. But leaderboards is a perfect example for it. Then, progress. The user needs the feeling of progressing somehow. With progression bars, we heard that already. Progression-based VIP systems with different levels. Again, something for Sarah where she can feel special if she achieves to a new VIP level. And the leaderboards. And what we said for Corti is time-limited offers, time-limited bonuses, time-limited rewards. If you can give away merch or something which has a limited stock, these are the things which really work for Corti. And for Andy, we need this entertaining UI UX. This is probably the easiest thing. Because our designers and game developers and so on, they are looking heavily on that, on UI, UX. They make it shiny, blinking, whatever, and it really hits Andy, but it doesn't hit so much the others. And this is the thing that I want to give you. If you want to create a loyal customer base, you need to engage all of our 4 guys. Because only then Joe is engaged. Only then Joe will become a loyal player. And with this, you do not only increase your retention, profit, actually your product speaks the brain's language. This is what you should seek for. What I want to show you lastly is, does this actually work? And I can tell you, it does. We introduced, this is a showcase, Star Games, it's a big German online casino. We introduced Players Club there about a year ago. And a few weeks ago, we started to measure or compare users who joined the loyalty system and users who did not. And now look at the numbers. The net revenue, so the profit of those guys who were in the loyalty system, are 40% higher in average. We decreased the churn rate by 48%. So the churn rate is nearly half as low as for all the other guys. And the number of deposits, which is also a very, very important number for casino operators, we increased by 16%. And this, we did that without any promotion. So Star Games never promoted the loyalty system. People, they discovered it on the platform, on their own. If you now think that you really promote this, then these numbers could even increase. So what's left is, I would challenge you, if you are a decision maker, if you need to decide in your next strategic meeting where to put your money, then maybe it's worth a thought to always think about, does what we plan increase our retention or decrease our churn rate or not? Partner with us if you want to know more about the topic of loyalty, if you want to amaze your users, and if you want to build together with us the perfect loyalty system. My name is Philip, I'm from Players Club. Just reach out to me anytime. Thanks for the attention.